267 recalls. As of May 2017, Tesla has issued 2 product safety recalls for the Roadster. 168. In May 2009, Tesla issued a recall for 345 Roadsters manufactured before the 22nd of April 2009. Tesla sent technicians to customers' homes to tighten the rear inner hub flange bolts. Using wording from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, Tesla told customers that without this adjustment, the driver could lose control of the car. 169. The problem originated at the Lotus assembly line, where the Roadster glider was built. Lotus also recalled some Elise and Exige vehicles for the same reason. 170. On the 1st of October 2010, Tesla issued a second product safety recall in the US affecting 439 Roadsters. Their call involved the 12V low-voltage auxiliary cable from a redundant backup system. The recall followed an incident where the low-voltage auxiliary cable in a vehicle chafed against the edge of the carbon fiber panel, causing a short, smoke and a possible fire behind the right front headlamp. This issue was limited to 12V low-voltage auxiliary cable and did not involve the main battery pack or main power system. 171. Reviews. Tesla Roadster reviews can be grouped in 2 main categories: older reviews of validation prototypes, 2006, 2008, before Tesla began serial production and customer deliveries, and reviews on cars in serial production, 2008, 2010. The global online auto review site Autoguide.com tested Tesla's 4th generation car in October 2010. Autoguide editor Derek Krangler said the Tesla Roadster 2.5S is a massively impressive vehicle, more a spacecraft than sports car. Theories like global warming, peak oil and rising oil prices should no longer bring heart palpitations to car fans. The Tesla shows just how good zero-emissions green technology can be. Quite frankly, getting into a normal car at the end of the test drive was a major letdown. The whir-off engine, the shove in the backside and the little Roadster that seems to pivot around you is replaced by a grunting, belching, feedback-free driving experience. He continues on that, but for a $100,000 car, it could use some work, complaining of purposefully cheap work. 172. In the March 2010 print edition of British Enthusiast magazine Evo, p. 120, editor Richard Meaden weighs first to review the all-new right-hand drive version of the Roadster. He said the car had serious instantaneous muscle. With so much torque from literally no revs, the acceleration punch is wholly alien. Away from traffic lights you'd murder anything, be it a 911 Turbo, GTR or 599, simply because while they have to mess about with balancing revs and clutch, or fiddle with launch controls and invalid warranties, all I'll have to do is floor the throttle and wave goodbye. In December 2009, the Wall Street Journal editor Joseph White conducted an extended test drive and determined that you can have enormous fun within the legal speed limit as you whoosh around unsuspecting Camry drivers, zapping from 40 to 60 miles per hour in 2 seconds while the startled victims seek your electric dust. White praised the car's environmental efficiency but said consumer demand reflected not the environmental attributes of the car but its performance. The Tesla turns the frugal environmentalist aesthetic on its head. Sure, it doesn't burn petroleum, and if plugged into a wind turbine or a nuclear plant it would be a very low-carbon machine. But anyone who buys one will get the most satisfaction from smoking someone's doors off. The Tesla's message is that green technology can appeal to the ID, not just a superego. 173. In December 2009, Motor Trend was the first to independently confirm the Roadster Sport's reported 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 97 kilometers per hour, time of 3.7 seconds. Motor Trend recorded 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 97 kilometers per hour, of 3.70 seconds. It recorded a quarter-mile test at 12.6 seconds at 102.6 miles per hour, 165.1 kilometers per hour. Engineering editor Kim Reynolds called the acceleration breathtaking and said the car confirms Tesla as an actual car company. Tesla is the first maker to crack the EV legitimacy barrier in a century. 174. In November 2009, Automobile magazine West Coast editor Jason Camisar spent a week driving a production Tesla Roadster. 175. Camisar was immediately impressed with the acceleration, saying the car explodes off the line, pulling like a small jet plane. It's like driving a Lamborghini with a big V12 revved over 6,000 RPM at all times, waiting to pounce without the noise, vibration, or misdemeanor arrest for disturbing the peace. He also took the car to Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California, and praised the car for its robustness, saying the Roadster wins the coolest car I've ever driven award. Why? Despite the flat-out sprints, the drag racing, the donuts, the top speed runs, and dicing through traffic like there's a jetpack strapped to the trunk, Pacific Gas and Electric, which generated power for the Tesla, released into the atmosphere the same amount of carbon dioxide as would a gasoline-powered car getting 99 miles per gallon. And the Roadster didn't break. It didn't smoke, knock up, freeze, or experience flux capacitor failure. Over the past 10 decades, no company has been able to reinvent the car, not General Motors with the EV1, not Toyota with the Prius. And now, a bunch of dudes from Silicon Valley have created an electric car that really works as both an environmental fix and a speed fix. In 2009, the Tesla Roadster was one of the Scandinavian Sports Car of the Year participants. In a comparison made by Nordic car magazines Tekniken Malmö, Finland, Teknikens Vald, Sweden, and BIL Magasinet, Denmark, critics praised the torque of the car and a track car structure, but also highlighted more negative aspects such as a short battery life. They were unable to drive a full track lap in dry track conditions. 176. In May 2009, Car and Driver technical editor Aaron Robinson wrote a review based on the first extended test drive of a production Tesla Roadster. Robinson had the car for nearly a week at his home. He complained of design anomalies, daily annoyances, absurd ergonomics, and ridiculous economics, and stated he never got to see if the car could go 240 miles on a single charge because the torturous seating forced him to stop driving the car. He also complained of Tesla increasing the car prices on those who had already made deposits and charging extra for previously free necessary components. 177. In February 2009, automotive critic Dan Neal of the Los Angeles Times called the production Tesla Roadster a superb piece of machinery, stiff, well-sorted, highly focused, dead sexy and eerily quick. Neal said he had the car for 24 hours but caned it like the Taliban caned Gillette salesman, and it never even blinked. 178. In February 2009, Road and Track tested another production vehicle and conducted the first independent live verified metered testing of the Roadster. Engineering editor Dennis Simonitis said the testing confirmed what he called extravagant claims, that the Roadster had a 4.0s 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 97 kilometers per hour, acceleration and a 200-mile, 320 kilometers, range. They said the Roadster felt like an over-ballasted Lotus Elise, but Q8 was well distributed, so the car remained responsive. Fit and finish of our Tesla were exemplary, which road and track thought fit the target market. Overall, they considered it a delight to drive. 179. Testing a pre-production car in early 2008, Road and Track said the Tesla feels composed and competent at speed with great turn-in and transitioning response, though they recommended against it as a primary grocery getter. 180. In January 2009, automotive critic Warren Brown of the Washington Post called the production Roadster a head-turner, jaw-dropper. It is sexy as all get out. He described the feeling behind the wheel as well. Drive a Tesla, even if you have to fly to Tesla's Menlo Park Calif headquarters, to get your hands on one for a day. If this is the future of the automobile, I want it. 181. In a review of the Roadster prototype before the cars were in serial production, Motor Trend gave a generally favorable review in March 2008, stating that it was undeniably, unbelievably efficient and would be profoundly humbling to just about any rumbling Ferrari or Porsche that makes the mistake of pulling up next to a silent 105 miles per gallon US, 2.2 L /100 km, 126 miles per gallon imp, Tesla Roadster at a stoplight. They nonetheless detected a nasty drive train bug during the test drive of an early Roadster with the older, 2-speed transmission. 182. In the 8th of July, 2007, review of a prototype Roadster, Jay Leno wrote, "If you like sports cars and you want taupe green, this is the only way to go. The Tesla is a car that you can live with, drive and enjoy as a sports car. I had a brief drive in the car and it was quite impressive. This is an electric car that is fun to drive." 183. In the 27th of November, 2006, review of a prototype Roadster in Slate, Paul Button wrote, "A week ago, I went for a spin in the fastest, most fun car I've ever ridden in, and that includes the Aston Martin I tried to buy as. I was so excited, in fact, that I decided to take a few days to calm down before writing about it. Well, my waiting period is over, I'm thinking rationally, and I'm still unbelievably stoked about the Tesla." 184. Top Gear controversy. In the third quarter of 2008, Top Gear's Jeremy Clarkson reviewed two production Roadsters with the V1.5 transmission and described the driving experience with the exclamations "God Almighty. Wave goodbye to the world of dial-up, and say hello to the world of broadband motoring, and this car is biblically quick." When comparing the acceleration versus the car the Roadster was based on, a Lotus Elise. Clarkson also noted, however, that the handling of the car was not as sharp as that of the Elise. Through the corners things are less rosy. 185. The segment also claimed that the car's batteries would run flat after 55 mi, 89 kilometers, of heavy use on a track. 186. And showed the car being pushed off the track. 187. Tesla spokesperson responded with statements in blogs and to mainstream news organizations that the cars provided to Top Gear never had less than 20% charge and never experienced brake failure. 188. In addition, neither car provided to Top Gear needed to be pushed off the track at any point. 189. Clarkson also showed a wind turbine with stationary rotor blades and complained that it would take countless hours to refuel the car using such a source of electricity, although the car can be charged from a 240 V70 outlet in as little as 3.5 hours. 190. 188. After numerous blogs and several large news organizations began following the controversy, 191, the BBC issued a statement saying the tested Tesla was filmed being pushed into the shed in order to show what would happen if the Roadster had run out of charge. Top Gear stands by the findings in this film and is content that it offers a fair representation of the Tesla's performance and the day it was tested, without addressing the other alleged misrepresentations that Tesla highlighted. Top Media. 192. After several weeks of increasing pressure and inquiries from the BBC, Clarkson wrote a blog entry for The Times, acknowledging that inevitably, the film we had shot was a bit of a mess. There was a handful of shots of a silver car, some of a grey car. But as it